So I was a typical kind of high school athlete, right? I tended to follow the things my dad did because I thought those are the things I should be doing, right? Football, baseball, wrestling, right? And then you get out of that and you realize, well, there's really not a need to do any of those anymore, but I like to stay active. So I started running, and then I started riding a bike, and then I met some guys out riding my bike in Southern California, and they were fun, and I'd meet with them every weekend, and they were all triathletes. And I thought, well, I can do 2 of the 3. Maybe I'll start learning how to swim. I want to hang out with these guys. They're fun. And so that turned into a triathlon. And I've done 4 Ironman triathlons and 15 half Ironmans. And part of it's the lifestyle, being able to do 3 different sports right at different times. So if you're injured or tired, you got something else you can do. And it's a fun group of people to hang out with. And then from that, I met a gentleman who I've stayed friends with who was into mountain climbing. And he said, you want to go climb Mt Rainier? And I said, I can do that. So we're already in shape, right? Let's go test
might as well.
This thing called endurance and understanding how to push your body to the limits, and let's go climb some mountains. So he and I started climbing mountains together, and every year we try and go climb some more. And then you meet people that do that. And then when I was going to business school, one of the guys that was in my study group, as you're kind of exiting business school, you think, I'm going to get my life back. What am I going to do when I get out, right? It's like being on probation. You're like, please, what am I going to do all this time? He said, hey, you want to go skydiving? And I thought, okay, I'm up for that. So that was his idea. We did the first 3 levels of a 7-level compulsory course. He dropped out.
Really?
I kept going.
That's funny.
And that turned into now, 20 plus years of skydiving and great friendships, opportunities to travel the country. I'm going to Chicago next week to do some skydiving with some really fun people. And you meet people from all over the world. What's the common link to all of them? People that enjoy life. They want to share their stories. They don't care what you do for a living. They just want to have fun. They want to be safe. They want to hang out with you. I call it the Sky family. And so that's the camaraderie. And then there's a lot of things that relate to gear. I like gear sports. But, being in shape for one allows you to kind of move around and do the other ones pretty successfully.
Listen, you have the foundation to do everything else, right? It's a matter of where do you want to apply your focus and energy. But so with the mountain climbing and the skydiving, there's an element of thrill seeking to a degree, right? I mean, maybe this is an outside perspective looking in.
Some of it.
Do you feel that way though, or is that a misnomer?
On skydiving, I wish it wasn't as dangerous. Because periodically you'll lose somebody that you know, right? And that is horrible. Flying your body with other people in the sky and doing things collectively that you planned on the ground and having it work is really fun. That energy that you get when you're up there and you see it in people's eyes, you can't talk to each other, but you can see the energy, like this is really working. We're pulling this off, right? It's a number of different formations at the time. And then that experience again, that camaraderie when you land, and that was an awesome jump. Let's do a different one. Let's make it harder, right? And so it's not more dangerous, it's just harder. So that's not what we're looking for. We're always trying to be safe. Safety is nobody ever wants to get hurt. Nobody ever wants to see anybody injured or die from the sport. It's a fun thing to do. When you first start it, you want to know what that thrill is. Honestly, I sleep on the way up.
Do you really?
It's a chance for me to take a nap.
Oh, it's routine for you at this point. Then,
but you have to have that fear of what you're doing and be conscious that it can be very dangerous and have your head on a swivel. The kind of rule of thumb we say is when you're up in the sky and you're flying around other people, assume everybody's trying to kill you. Right? But then when you're done skydiving, right, enjoy the time with those people. Because everybody's 3 dimensions, there's a lot to think about.
That's amazing. When you are a world record holder as well, right?
We have a couple world records. And so what's the world record? It's not how low you fall to the ground or something kind of dumb like that. There are formations based on the total number of people. So the world record right now is 400. I was not part of that. I was a little bit too young. There are formations based on the number of people and the number of different linked formations that occur. So that's the one that I had. It's been since broken, but I think we had 123 people and formed 3 different formations in the same skydive.
Oh, wow. So when you lose a world record, do you feel like, I got to go get it back, or you just go, good job, and let it slide?
I will always be a world record holder for even that. For even a period, 12 months. Or
most people never get to say that, so I think I would be good with you just saying, all right, we're good here, and I'm happy with that one world record. So that's amazing, by the way. And I was actually commenting to you off the podcast a little bit. One of the very through line style characteristics I see of very successful people is there's also this drive underneath. It's not just the work you do. Very very common to hear people do triathlons that are in a position like yours, or rowing or running or just general physical fitness. It seems like there's a passion to also exert the physical body just as much as the mental energy that you stimulate on a daily basis. Do you think that's a commonality? I mean, obviously you talk to other folks in your position as well.
I think it is. I think the need to be active and test kind of, it's both the physical limits, but also the mental, right? And sometimes spiritual, right?
Yeah.
You think, can I really survive this? Knowing that you can always stop, right? At least mountain climbing, you still have to come down, right? There's a challenge there. But I think too, what keeps you coming back is that camaraderie experience, because most of these you're going to do with other people around you.
Yes.
Even mountain climbing, right?
Yes.
You have a rope team, and you have highs and lows, and you're going to have stories to tell out of that. And some of the best experiences I've had mountain climbing aren't the things that happened while I was trying to summit. It's the things that happened around it. It's the people I met and the experiences being kind of off the grid in the middle of nowhere, Peru or Uruguay, or most of my climbing's in South America. And you have to be present and know that these things are going to happen and enjoy them when they're happening. And they happen because you're trying to climb the mountain, and you need to be in shape to fully appreciate that. But there's things that happen on the top of the mountain too, where you're just in awe.
Yeah.
Where I've been in, say, it was Bolivia, summiting a 19,000 foot mountain, and the wind was blowing off the backside of the mountain. The sun was coming up on the other side, and we were basically walking through like a wave of snow.
Oh, wow.
So it was like being in the barrel of a wave, and you're walking through it with the wind on one side, dark, sun on the other side, and the curl of the snow, and walking across the ridgeline to get to the summit, and just looking up and going, isn't this the coolest thing in the world?
I mean, you earned that view, right? You earned that experience. I mean, those, like you said, those are the things that are
you got to go out and try it to do
it,
it, whether it's raise your hand to go take on a different role, but kind of test your limits sometimes. And I find that I'm probably most enjoy that being uncomfortable is where I'm most comfortable.
Well, there's our COO. He's an avid outdoorsman. He not to the extent that you do, but he's real big into fly fishing. He's real big, and he lives on the mountain. He loves to ski. He loves to snowboard. He sent me a book, and I apologize, I forgot the name of the book, the author, but it was about being uncomfortable. The entire book was based around, I think, his traversing to like a long distance ice trek or something like that. And his whole book was predicated on this notion of like getting out of your comfort zone, being uncomfortable, learning how to navigate the world of discomfort and come out the other side of it and know what you're actually capable of.
And what people get out of it, and I've read similar books, what you and I talked about before, the fighter's mind and the fighter's heart, there's a certain purity, right, where things get really simple. When you're climbing it, trying to summit, usually a summit push happens at night.
Okay.
Why does it happen at night? Because you want to hit the summit right at sunup or before, because then the ice and everything starts to melt and it changes, and that's when you get avalanches.
Okay.
So there's this very purity that happens where you're climbing at night and it's cold, and it gets colder as it gets to approaches sunup. And all you've got to focus on is the headlamp that's on you, the headlamp that's in front of you, step, breathe, right? And that purity of what you get out of that just is sometimes mesmerizing.
Well, it distills everything down to the very basics of living and survival, right?
Right. All the things that happen outside of work or in work kind of just get dispelled.
Go away,
and you just say, all I got to do is put one foot in front of
the other. You mean
you're
not thinking about emails, like responding to emails up on the side of a mountain?
Sometimes you're up there for 12 hours climbing continuously, going up and down. And again, you get to those highs and lows, and again, you just have to focus. So then you can come back to work and say, well, if I can do that, then getting through this hour-long meeting is easy.
It's easy.